The Galactic Council met once every 100 cycles to discuss matters of great importance. This time, the matter was simple but urgent. They needed to update the official registry of dangerous worlds. The registry was a list that every species in the known galaxy used to plan their travels and avoid places that could kill them. Ambassador Vrex of the Torani Collective stood at the center of the Great Chamber. His blue scales caught the light from 1,000 floating orbs above. Around him sat representatives from 300 different species. Some had tentacles, some had wings, some were made of living crystal, but all of them were watching Vrex with great interest. "We have a problem," Vrex said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "A new species has joined the galactic community. They call themselves humans. They come from a small planet on the outer edge of the Orion Arm. The planet is called Earth." A murmur went through the crowd. New species were not uncommon. The galaxy was vast, and new civilizations were discovered every few cycles. But something in Vrex's voice told them this was different. "What is the problem?" asked a being made of pure energy. She flickered with curiosity. "Are they aggressive? Do they wish to conquer?" Vrex shook his head slowly. "No. Well, sometimes yes, but that is not the problem. The problem is their planet. We need to add Earth to the registry." "What category?" asked another representative. This one looked like a giant spider with too many eyes. "Class 3, Class 4. Vrex was quiet for a long moment, then he spoke. "Class 10. The chamber erupted. Class 10 was the highest danger rating possible. It was reserved for planets with active volcanoes that covered the entire surface, or worlds where the very air was made of poison. Class 10 meant death to anyone who visited. "Impossible," shouted someone from the back. "The humans are alive, they live on this planet. How can it be Class 10? "That," said Vrex, "is exactly what makes them so terrifying. Please let me explain. I have prepared a presentation." He waved one of his 4 hands, and a holographic image of Earth appeared above the chamber. It was a beautiful planet. Blue oceans covered most of its surface. Green and brown landmasses dotted the globe. White clouds swirled in patterns across the sky. "It looks peaceful," someone said. "Yes," Vrex agreed. "It does. That is part of the problem. Let us start with the basics. Earth orbits a yellow dwarf star. The star constantly bombards the planet with radiation. This radiation is so strong that it damages genetic material and causes mutations in living cells." "But surely they have protection?" asked the energy being. "They do. A thin layer of gas in the upper atmosphere blocks most of the radiation. But here is the thing. Humans regularly go outside without any additional protection. They expose themselves to this radiation on purpose. They call it sunbathing. Some of them do it until their skin burns and peels off." Several representatives made sounds of disgust. The spider-like being covered some of her eyes with her legs. "But that is just the beginning," Vrex continued. "Let us talk about the atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere is 21% oxygen." Gasps filled the chamber. Oxygen was known throughout the galaxy as one of the most dangerous substances. It was highly reactive. It caused fires and explosions. It corroded metal and destroyed organic tissue over time. 21%, someone whispered. "How do they survive?" "They breathe it," Vrex said flatly. "They need it to live. Their bodies use oxygen to burn fuel at the cellular level. They are, quite literally, on fire on the inside at all times." A small creature that looked like a floating jellyfish fainted and had to be carried out by medical staff. "Now," Vrex said, "let us discuss the water situation. 70% of Earth's surface is covered in water. The humans call this liquid dihydrogen monoxide. It is a powerful solvent that dissolves almost anything given enough time. It falls from the sky regularly in a process called rain." "Falls from the sky?" asked a rock-like being. "Like an attack?" "No, it is a natural process. Water evaporates, forms clouds, and then falls back down. Humans walk through it without protection. They sometimes stand in it for enjoyment. Their young play in it. "This cannot be real," said the rock being. "I assure you it is. But wait, there is more. The water on Earth is not pure. The large bodies of water contain high levels of salt. This salt water covers the planet and is home to creatures that would make your nightmares seem pleasant." The hologram changed to show underwater images. The council saw sharks with rows of razor teeth. They saw jellyfish with tentacles that delivered poison so strong it could kill in minutes. They saw creatures that lived in total darkness, with lights on their heads to lure prey into their mouths. "The humans swim in these waters," Vrex said, "for fun." "They must be insane," said someone. "Perhaps," Vrex agreed. "But we have not even discussed the land yet. Earth has extreme temperature variations. In some places, the temperature drops so low that water freezes solid and falls from the sky as ice. In other places, it gets so hot that exposed skin can receive burns within minutes. And humans live in both places. They live everywhere on their planet, every continent, every climate. They have adapted to survive in deserts where nothing should live. They have built cities on frozen wasteland. They make their homes next to active volcanoes." The hologram showed images of human settlements in every possible environment. Houses on stilts above water, buildings carved into mountains, tents in endless deserts, villages surrounded by snow and ice. "The planet itself is unstable," Vrex continued. "The outer layer of Earth is broken into massive plates that float on a sea of liquid rock. These plates move constantly. When they collide or separate, the result is earthquakes that can level cities in seconds. And they still live there." "Yes. In fact, some of their largest cities are built directly on fault lines, places where earthquakes happen most often. They know the danger. They live there anyway." Vrex paused to let this sink in. Then he continued. "Earth also has violent weather patterns. Massive storms called hurricanes can cover areas larger than some moons. Tornadoes are funnels of spinning wind that can pick up buildings and throw them across great distances. Lightning strikes the surface millions of times per year, delivering enough energy to kill instantly. Surely they hide from these things. Some do, but some humans actually chase storms. They drive vehicles toward tornadoes to get closer. They call themselves storm chasers. They do this because they find it exciting." The council was silent. No one could think of anything to say. After a short break to allow several representatives to recover from shock, the council reconvened. Vrex stood again at the center of the chamber. The hologram of Earth still floated above them, looking deceptively peaceful. "I would like to continue," Vrex said. "We have discussed the planet itself. Now let us talk about the life forms that share this world with the humans." "There is more," asked the energy being weakly. "Much more. Earth is home to millions of different species. Many of them are capable of killing humans. Let us start with the smallest, microorganisms." The hologram zoomed in to show tiny creatures too small to see with normal eyes. "Earth is covered in bacteria, viruses, and other microscopic life forms. Many of these can infect humans and cause disease. Some diseases can kill within days. Others cause slow, painful deaths over months or years. Throughout human history, these tiny creatures have killed more humans than all other causes combined." "How do they survive?" asked a plant-like being. "If these invisible killers are everywhere?" "Their bodies fight back," Vrex explained. "Humans have an internal defense system. Their blood contains cells that hunt down and destroy invaders. Their bodies can remember diseases they have survived and become immune to them. They have also learned to create medicines that help them fight infections." "That is remarkable," someone said. "Yes, but what is more remarkable is what they do with dangerous microorganisms. Some humans collect them, study them, keep them in containers in buildings called laboratories. They poke them and prod them and try to understand how they work. Why would anyone do such a thing? They say it helps them find cures. And it does. But it also means that somewhere on Earth, there are buildings full of the deadliest diseases in history, kept alive and studied by humans who chose this as their job. The council shifted uncomfortably. Vrex moved on. Now let us talk about the larger creatures. Earth has an incredible variety of predators, animals that hunt and kill to survive. The hologram changed to show various animals: lions with massive jaws, bears standing twice the height of a human, crocodiles with teeth as long as fingers. These creatures are called apex predators. They sit at the top of their food chains. They fear almost nothing. Almost nothing, someone asked. They fear humans, Vrex said. Over time, humans have hunted every single one of these predators. They have driven some species to extinction. The ones that remain have learned to avoid humans when possible. The humans are not the biggest or strongest creatures on their planet, but they are, without question, the most dangerous. How? Asked the spider-like representative. They have no claws, no armor, no venom. They have something more dangerous: brains and hands. Vrex showed images of human weapons: spears, bows, guns. Humans learned to create tools that extended their abilities. A human with a spear can kill from a distance. A human with a gun can kill from even farther away. They developed these tools over thousands of years, always finding new ways to become more deadly. But they are not the only intelligent species on their planet, someone pointed out. True, Vrex agreed. There are other smart animals on Earth: dolphins, elephants, some species of birds, but none of them developed tools like humans did. None of them conquered their entire planet. The hologram now showed images of human civilization: cities stretching across landscapes, roads connecting every corner of every continent, lights visible from space, covering the dark side of the planet like a web of fire. They have spread to every part of their world, Vrex said. They have changed the planet itself to suit their needs. They cut down forests. They dam rivers. They reshape mountains. They have become so numerous and so active that they are actually changing the climate of their entire world. That seems unwise, said the plant-like being. It is. They know it is. Many of them are trying to stop it, but my point is this: they have the power to change an entire planet. They developed this power in just a few thousand years. That is the blink of an eye in cosmic terms. Vrex paused and looked around the chamber. But we have not yet discussed what makes humans truly unique. What makes them survive on a planet that should kill them? Please continue, said the council leader, a being made of intertwined metals and crystal. Humans are persistence predators, Vrex said. This is a term we created to describe their hunting method. Most predators rely on speed or ambush. They attack quickly and either catch their prey or give up. Humans do not give up. What do you mean? Early humans hunted by following their prey for hours, sometimes days. They would track an animal until it collapsed from exhaustion. You see, humans are not the fastest runners on Earth, but they can run for longer than almost any other creature. Their bodies are designed to shed heat efficiently. They sweat, which cools them down. They can keep moving long after other animals must stop. So they simply wait until their prey cannot run anymore. Exactly. They are the terminators of their ecosystem. They pick a target and they follow it until it dies. And this persistence extends beyond hunting. Humans never give up on anything they truly want. What do you mean? When humans want to accomplish something, they keep trying until they succeed or die. They tried to fly for centuries before they figured it out. They failed thousands of times. They crashed. They burned. They died. But they kept trying and eventually they succeeded. Now they fill their skis with flying machines. The hologram showed airplanes crossing the sky, rockets launching into space, satellites orbiting the planet. They wanted to leave their planet, Vrex continued. So they built rockets. The first rockets exploded. The second rockets exploded. Many rockets exploded. Humans died in these explosions. But other humans looked at the dead and said, "We will try again." And they did, again and again until they reached the stars. "This is madness," whispered someone. "Perhaps, but it is effective madness. Consider this. Humans discovered that certain materials could be used to create massive explosions. These explosions could level entire cities. A normal species would look at such a weapon and decide never to build it. Humans built thousands of them." The council was silent. "They pointed these weapons at each other," Vrex said. "For decades. Any moment their entire civilization could have ended. They lived with this threat every day. They called it mutually assured destruction. Both sides knew that if they attacked, they would be destroyed in return, so they did not attack. They used the threat of extinction to keep the peace." "Yes, and it worked. They still have these weapons. They still point them at each other, but so far they have not used them in war." "This species is insane," said the energy being. "That depends on your definition," Vrex replied. "They see themselves as survivors, and they are right. Everything on their planet tries to kill them. The planet itself tries to kill them, and yet they survive. They thrive. They grow stronger with every challenge." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of as many representatives as he could. "And now they have joined the galactic community. They have left their death world and reached out to the stars. The question before us is simple. What do we do about it?" The debate that followed lasted for 3 full days. Representatives from across the galaxy argued about what should be done with the humans. Some wanted to isolate them. Others wanted to study them. A few extremists suggested destroying Earth before the humans could spread further. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. The human ambassador arrived. Her name was Sarah Chen. She was small by galactic standards, barely reaching the chest of the shortest representative in the chamber. She had dark hair, brown eyes, and wore a simple gray uniform. She carried no weapons that anyone could see. "I understand you have been discussing my planet," she said. Her voice was calm and steady. "I would like the chance to respond." The council leader, the being of metal and crystal, nodded slowly. "You may speak, Ambassador Chen." Sarah walked to the center of the chamber. She looked around at the assembled aliens. She did not seem afraid. She did not seem nervous. She simply looked curious. "I have read the reports," she said. "I have heard the recordings of Ambassador Vrex's presentation. I have to say, he was very accurate. Everything he said about Earth is true." Murmurs went through the crowd. They had expected her to deny the claims, to argue that Earth was not really that dangerous. "Our sun does bombard us with radiation," Sarah continued. "Our atmosphere is full of reactive oxygen. Water falls from our sky and fills our oceans with salt and monsters. Our planet shakes and storms and tries to kill us in 1,000 different ways every single day." She paused and smiled slightly. "But Ambassador Vrex missed something important. He told you what Earth does to us. He did not tell you what Earth gave us." "What do you mean?" asked Vrex. He seemed genuinely curious. "Every challenge makes us stronger," Sarah said. "Every danger teaches us something new. You see a death world, we see a training ground." She waved her hand and her own hologram appeared. It showed early humans, barely more than animals, huddled in caves. "When our ancestors first appeared, they were weak. They had no claws, no fangs, no armor. They should have died out, but they did not. They learned to use fire. Fire that could burn them, kill them, destroy everything they built. But they learned to control it, and it became their greatest tool." The hologram showed humans around fires, cooking food, staying warm, driving away predators. "When animals tried to kill us, we learned to kill them back. Then we learned to tame them. Dogs were wolves once, deadly predators that hunted us in the night. Now they guard our children and sleep at our feet. Horses were wild creatures that could trample us to death. Now they carry us across continents. Images of dogs and horses appeared in the hologram. When disease killed us, we studied it until we understood it. Then we created vaccines, medicines that teach our bodies to fight diseases before they can harm us. Plagues that once killed millions now kill almost no one. You turned your enemies into allies, said the plant-like being. You turned your killers into protectors. Exactly, Sarah said. That is what humans do. We take what tries to kill us and we make it work for us. She looked directly at Vrex. You mentioned that we split atoms to create weapons of mass destruction. That is true, but we also use that same power to generate energy, to heal the sick, to explore the stars. The same force that could destroy us lights our cities and powers our hospitals. But you still have the weapons, Vrex pointed out. Yes, because we have not yet learned how to trust each other completely. We are working on it. We have made progress. Nations that were enemies for centuries now trade and cooperate. Wars are less common than they used to be. We are not perfect, but we are improving. Sarah walked closer to the council leader. I know you are afraid of us, I understand. We are strange to you. Our world is strange to you. But consider this, everything that makes us dangerous also makes us valuable. How so? Asked the council leader. Our immune systems can fight off almost anything. Our doctors have experience with diseases you have never seen. Our engineers have learned to build in environments that would kill most species. Our scientists have studied radiation and learned to protect against it and use it. She spread her arms wide. We grew up fighting for every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of survival. That fight made us strong. That fight gave us knowledge. And now we want to share that knowledge with the galaxy. Share it, asked the energy being. You would share your weapons, your dangerous technology. Not the weapons, Sarah said firmly. Not yet. We do not trust ourselves with those, so we certainly would not expect others to trust us. But our medicine, our engineering, our understanding of hostile environments, these things we can share. She pulled up a new hologram. It showed a human medical team working with alien patients. We have already begun. On 3 different worlds, human doctors are helping to fight diseases that have plagued those populations for generations. Our methods are different, sometimes strange, but they work. Another image appeared. This one showed human construction crews building structures on a planet with a toxic atmosphere. Our engineers have helped colonize worlds that other species considered uninhabitable. Because to us, those worlds are not much worse than parts of Earth. We know how to survive in harsh conditions. We can teach others. The spider-like representative raised several limbs. You speak of helping others, but what do you want in return? Sarah considered the question carefully before answering. We want to learn, she said. Your species have traveled the stars for thousands of years, some of you for millions. You have knowledge we can only dream of, technologies we cannot yet imagine. We want to learn from you just as you can learn from us. You want our technology? Someone asked suspiciously. Eventually, yes, but we are patient. We understand that trust must be earned. We are willing to wait, to prove ourselves, to show that we can be good partners, not threats. She smiled again, and there was warmth in it. We have spent our entire history surviving against impossible odds. We have fought our own planet. We have fought each other. Now we want to stop fighting and start building. We want to be part of something larger than ourselves. The chamber was quiet. The representatives looked at each other, unsure what to say. Finally, the council leader spoke. Your words are impressive, Ambassador Chen. But words are easy, actions are harder. I know, Sarah said. That is why I brought something to show you, something that proves what we are capable of when we work together. She pressed a button on her wrist, and a door at the side of the chamber opened. A group of humans walked in, carrying equipment, but they were not alone. Walking with them were members of 3 different alien species. 6 months ago, Sarah said, a mining colony on the edge of Torani space suffered a catastrophic failure. Their life support systems were damaged. Their communication equipment was destroyed. They were cut off and dying. Vrex straightened. I remember this, the Velar 3 colony. We thought everyone had died. Almost, Sarah said, but a human ship was passing nearby. They picked up a faint distress signal. The radiation in that area would have killed most crews, but our ship was designed to handle Earth's radiation and our crew was used to it. One of the humans stepped forward. He was tall and scarred, with gray at his temples. We went in, he said. The radiation was bad. The damage was worse, but we have experience with this kind of thing. On Earth, we have responded to disasters like this many times. An alien standing beside him spoke. She was Torani, with blue scales like Vrex. They saved us, she said simply. They worked for 3 days without rest. They breathed air that was slowly poisoning them. They carried us to safety when we were too weak to walk. 47 of us survived because of these humans. The chamber buzzed with surprised voices. The council debated for another 2 days after Sarah's presentation, but the tone had changed. The survivors from Velar 3 had stayed, telling their story to anyone who would listen. The human rescue team answered questions patiently, explaining how they had managed to survive conditions that should have killed them. On the 6th day, Vrex approached Sarah in the hallway outside the main chamber. Ambassador Chen, he said, may I speak with you? Sarah nodded. Of course, Ambassador Vrex. They walked together down a long corridor that looked out into space. Stars glittered beyond the transparent walls. I owe you an apology, Vrex said. My presentation was accurate, but it was not complete. I focused only on the dangers of your world. I did not consider what those dangers had created. You are not wrong to be cautious, Sarah said. We are dangerous. That is simply true, but dangerous does not mean evil. No, Vrex agreed. It does not. I have been thinking about your species since you spoke to the council. You are unlike anything we have encountered before. How so? Most species in the galaxy evolved on stable worlds with gentle climates and predictable conditions. We developed slowly, carefully, learning to cooperate with our environments. Your species evolved fighting your environment every step of the way. Sarah nodded. We had to, there was no other choice. Exactly, and that has made you different from us in fundamental ways. You think differently. You approach problems differently. Where we see obstacles, you see opportunities. Where we see danger, you see challenge. They stopped walking and looked out at the stars. There is a plague, Vrex said quietly. In the outer systems, it has been spreading for decades. We have tried everything we know, but nothing works. The disease adapts faster than our treatments. How many have died? Millions, perhaps more. We have lost count. Vrex's voice was heavy with grief. We have been afraid to ask for help, afraid to appear weak. But watching your rescue team, hearing your ambassador speak, I realized something. What? Pride is a luxury we cannot afford, not when lives are at stake. Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then she said, send us the data, everything you have on the disease. Our medical teams will begin analysis immediately. You would help us, even after how we treated you in the council. Of course, Sarah said, as if it were obvious. That is what neighbors do. They help each other. Vrex made a sound that might have been a laugh. Neighbors. We live in different star systems, separated by light years of empty space. Details, Sarah said with a smile. On Earth, we have a saying. A good neighbor is better than a distant family member. Distance does not matter if you are willing to help. Over the next few months, everything changed. Human medical teams traveled to the outer systems to study the plague. They worked alongside alien doctors, sharing knowledge and learning new techniques. The disease was unlike anything Earth had ever seen, but humans had experience with unknown diseases. They had faced plagues of their own. They knew how to fight back. After 4 months, a human researcher named Dr. James Park made a breakthrough. He noticed that the disease was similar to a virus that had troubled Earth centuries ago. The ancient virus had been defeated using a particular approach. Dr. Park adapted that approach for the alien disease. It worked. The treatment spread through the outer systems. Within a year, the plague that had killed millions was under control, not eliminated entirely but manageable, survivable. News of the cure spread faster than the plague ever had. Species that had been suspicious of humans began to reconsider. Perhaps these dangerous creatures were not threats after all. Perhaps they were allies. But not everyone was convinced. At the next meeting of the Galactic Council, a representative from the Zorn hegemony stood to speak. The Zorn were ancient. They had traveled the stars for millions of years. They were powerful and proud, and they did not trust newcomers. "The humans are dangerous," said the Zorn representative. His voice was like grinding stone. "Curing one plague does not change that. They are still predators from a death world. They still possess weapons of mass destruction. They still fight among themselves." Sarah stood to respond, but another voice spoke first. "May I speak?" It was the Taurani survivor from Velar 3. She walked to the center of the chamber, her blue scales catching the light. "My name is Kira. 1 year ago I was dying. My colony was destroyed. My friends were dead or dying around me. I had given up hope." She looked around the chamber. Then the humans came. They came into radiation that was killing us slowly. Radiation that would have killed any other rescue team. They came anyway. I watched a human man carry my colleague for 3 hours through a collapsing tunnel. The human was injured. His skin was burning from radiation. He did not stop. When I asked him why, he said it was simple. He said that no one gets left behind. Kira turned to face the Zorn representative directly. "You call them dangerous. You are right. They are dangerous. Dangerous to anyone who threatens them. Dangerous to anyone who threatens their friends. But they are also dangerous to disease and disaster and despair. They fight everything. And when they decide to fight for you instead of against you, there is nothing in the galaxy more valuable." The Zorn representative seemed to shrink slightly. He had no response. Vrex stood next. "I was the one who gave the original presentation about Earth. I was the one who called it a Class 10 death world. I stand by that assessment. Earth is one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy." He paused and looked at Sarah. "But I have learned something since then. Danger is not the same as evil. Strength is not the same as cruelty. The humans are dangerous because they had to be. They are strong because they had no other choice. And now they are using that strength to help others." He turned to address the full council. "I move that we officially welcome humanity into the Galactic Council, not as observers, not as probationary members, as full partners." The vote was not unanimous. The Zorn and a few others voted against it, but the majority voted yes. Humanity was officially part of the galactic community. After the vote, Sarah found Vrex in the corridor again. "Thank you," she said, "for speaking on our behalf." "I only spoke the truth," Vrex replied. "You are dangerous. Everyone knows it. But now they also know that your danger can be directed, can be used for good." "We will try to be good partners," Sarah said. "I believe you will," Vrex said. "But Ambassador Chen, I must ask you something. It has been bothering me since I first learned about your species." "What is it?" "Your planet tried to kill you for millions of years. It is still trying to kill you. Why do you love it so much?" Sarah thought about the question for a long moment. "Because it is home," she said finally. "It made us who we are. Every storm, every earthquake, every disease, every predator, they all shaped us. We would not be the same species without them." She looked out at the stars again. And besides, she added with a small smile, we are stubborn. We do not give up on things we love no matter how much they hurt us. It is one of our many flaws. Or one of your many strengths, Vrex said. Sarah shrugged. Sometimes it is hard to tell the difference. 10 years passed. In that time, humans spread across the galaxy like they had spread across Earth. They went to places other species avoided. They built colonies on harsh worlds. They explored regions of space that had been marked as too dangerous. And everywhere they went, they helped. Human rescue teams became famous throughout the galaxy. When disaster struck, they were often the first to respond. They pulled survivors from collapsed buildings, toxic environments, and radiation zones. They worked in conditions that would kill most other species. Human engineers designed structures that could withstand earthquakes, floods, and storms. They shared these designs freely with any species that asked. Human doctors developed treatments for dozens of alien diseases. They trained alien medical students in techniques that had been perfected on Earth over centuries of fighting their own plagues. But perhaps the most important thing humans brought to the galaxy was something harder to define. It was an attitude, a way of looking at the universe. They called it hope. Before humans joined the galactic community, many species had accepted certain things as impossible. Some worlds could never be settled. Some diseases could never be cured. Some problems could never be solved. Humans did not believe in impossible. They had faced impossible odds their entire history and won anyway. They brought this belief with them to the stars. Why are you even trying? Alien scientists would ask. The math says it cannot be done. The math is probably right, human scientists would reply. But let us try anyway. Maybe we will get lucky. Maybe we will find something the math did not account for. And sometimes they did, not always. Humans failed often, but they learned from their failures and tried again, and again, and again. The 20th anniversary of First Contact brought a great celebration. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to mark the occasion. Sarah Chen, now older and gray-haired, stood before the assembly once more. 20 years ago, she said, we came to you as strangers. You were afraid of us. You had good reason to be. We are dangerous. We have always been dangerous. That has not changed. She looked around the chamber. So many faces now, so many species, some she had never seen before the anniversary celebration. But I hope we have proven something in these 20 years. We have shown that danger can be directed. Strength can be controlled. The same fire that burns can also warm. The same determination that makes us relentless enemies makes us loyal friends. She smiled the same warm smile she had shown 20 years ago. Earth is still called the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. That title is accurate. We are proud of it. Because now, everyone knows what that danger means. It means we will never stop fighting for what we believe in. It means we will never give up on our friends. It means that when the universe throws its worst at us, we throw something back. After the ceremony, Vrex found Sarah on the observation deck. They stood together, looking out at the stars as they had so many times over the years. It has been quite a journey, Vrex said. His scales were duller now, showing his age. From my first presentation about Earth to this. It has, Sarah agreed. I remember watching that presentation. I was so angry at first. You made us sound like monsters. I was scared, Vrex admitted. When I first learned about Earth, about all the dangers, I could not understand how anything survived there. And then I learned that not only did life survive, it thrived. It evolved intelligence. It built civilizations. It reached the stars. I found that terrifying. And now I find it inspiring, Vrex said. You prove that adversity does not have to destroy. It can strengthen. It can teach. It can create something remarkable. Sarah nodded slowly. We learned that lesson the hard way. Every generation had to learn it again, sometimes through war, sometimes through disaster, sometimes through disease, but we always learned it. Do you think the galaxy has learned it too? Some have, Sarah said. Others are still learning. That is fine. We were not always good neighbors either. We had to learn that too. A young Taurani approached them. She had bright blue scales and eager eyes. Ambassador Chen, Ambassador Vrex, I am sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to thank you both. For what? Sarah asked. I am going to medical school, the young Taurani said. My family was saved by the plague cure 10 years ago. I want to become a doctor like the human doctors who helped us. I want to learn from them. Sarah's eyes grew bright with emotion. That is wonderful. What is your name? My name is Hope. My parents named me after a human word they learned during the plague. They said it was the most important thing the humans brought with them. After the young Taurani left, Vrex turned to Sarah. You know, he said, when I first gave my presentation, I thought I was warning the council about a threat. I thought I was protecting the galaxy from a dangerous species. And now I realize I was introducing them to their greatest allies. The galaxy is safer because of humanity, stronger, more hopeful. We still have a long way to go, Sarah said. We still make mistakes. We are still learning to trust each other completely, even among ourselves. True, Vrex agreed, but you never stop trying. That is what matters. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Do you know what I think is the most remarkable thing about your species? Vrex asked eventually. What? You could have become bitter. Your planet did everything possible to kill you. You could have grown cold and cruel. You could have decided that the universe was your enemy and acted accordingly. Some of us did, Sarah admitted. Throughout our history, some of us became exactly that. But most of you did not. Most of you looked at a universe that wanted you dead and decided to love it anyway. You looked at danger and decided to help those who faced it. You took your trauma and turned it into compassion. That is not just strength. That is grace. Sarah felt tears forming in her eyes. After all these years, all these accomplishments, these words meant more to her than any official recognition. Thank you, Vrex, she said. That means more than you know. I mean every word, he replied. Earth may be the most dangerous planet in the galaxy, but its people are also the most magnificent. Far away, on the third planet from a yellow dwarf star, the sun was rising over blue oceans and green forests. Earthquakes rumbled in the deep places. Storms gathered over warm waters. Predators hunted in the wild places that remained. And humans went about their day, breathing their toxic oxygen, walking under their radiation-filled sun, swimming in their salt-filled oceans. They loved their dangerous planet as they had always loved it. And from that love, from that determination, from that refusal to surrender, they had built something that reached across the stars. The galaxy still called Earth the most dangerous planet, but now when they said it, there was pride in their voices. Earth had earned its title, and so had its people. Because in the end, humans were not dangerous because they wanted to destroy. They were dangerous because they refused to quit, refused to give up, refused to let the universe tell them what was impossible. And that, more than any weapon or any threat, was what made Earth the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Because danger, in the end, is just another word for potential, and humanity had more potential than anyone had ever imagined. The stars were waiting, and humanity was ready.